Allen back, wants to throw, does. Right side, deep, wants Tesla. Got him! Inside the 5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions. That was beautiful.
Football is back in Detroit, and that means the 20 in the Huddle podcast is back. I am Tim Twentyman, senior writer for the Detroit Lions, and I am glad to welcome in Ray Agnew, the assistant general manager for the Lions. And Ray, let's start with this. Obviously, Monday and Tuesday are tough days, right? You've got to tell 37 guys that their dream of playing in the NFL is over. But when you get to Wednesday, what's that excitement like when you've got your guys, right? You've got your practice squad developed. Those are the guys that you're going to go to battle with for 4 months, hopefully 5 months, right? And just the excitement of kind of this before you get rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good feeling, once you get the team together. I mean, it hurts to let some of those guys go, but then you get them back on the practice squad, so you're happy. But the great thing is, like, when you see a kid that has earned his spot on the team and you're able to go up to him and say, hey, man, congratulations, good job, So that part is great, because there's some kids, some great stories that come from small schools or whatever, and then they make a team, and then so it's exciting to congratulate them.
I thought it was interesting. You guys, when you whittled that down to an initial roster, you went to 50. You had some trades, you had some claims. But when you and Brad Holmes, the GM, talked Thursday morning, it was about the 50 guys that we kept made the team. Right. Can you just explain that a little bit? Because it's not always about just getting to 53. There were 50 guys, in you and Brad's opinion, that made the team.
Right.
Just explain that.
Yeah. When you look at it, man, you feel like these 50 guys legitimately made the team. These were the best 50 players, and not a knock on that, the first 3 out or whatever, but because I don't want to talk about those guys like they can't play football,
right.
But we feel like at our standards we had 50 guys that made the team, and you don't have to have a 53-man roster,
Yeah.
And then you could look outside, with the claiming and all that stuff.
But Brad said this before, Dan has said this too, and it maybe plays off that a little bit, is you guys have 69 players on the roster, and you view it that way, don't you? I think it was 16 guys or 16 transactions last year where you guys had to get some help because of all the injuries and stuff. That's really how you view this, isn't it? Is it 69 because you're going to use those guys?
No question. Those guys, all those guys will play at some point. They will help us at some point. So you're still excited about them, They're just on the practice squad rather than on the active.
When you look at that practice squad, were you guys happy about getting a lot of those guys back? And I want to ask you, obviously you can't give away any trade secrets here, but you and Brad have done a really good job over the last few years of not getting guys claimed, of knowing which guys you can maybe pass through to the practice squad. What kind of projection work it goes into that, and what makes you guys so good at that? And are you happy with getting the guys back in the practice squad that you formed?
And I'm not going to give you all our secrets, but we there is there's some things we look at, where we feel like this guy can probably make it through, and sometimes it's past history of what's happened in the league, but there's some things we look at that we feel like this guy, he'll make it through, and been pretty good so far.
Yeah, you've got some guys there I think that are going to be able to help you guys this year at some point, be able to step in and play. From the outside looking in, and I know you're a defensive guy, so this is right at the heart of what you're about, that Detroit Lions defense in camp was terrific. I think if you break down the days the offense and defense played each other, I would probably give the edge to the defense in terms of just maybe winning the day or winning the period. What's your thought on this defense heading into this season? You guys were obviously good in a lot of areas last year, but is this one of the better defenses on paper going into the year that you guys have had?
I would say, yeah, and because we're healthy now, we're still missing a big piece, and a lean, but I would say being healthy, having Hutch back and Davenport back, those guys are tremendous football players, and corners. Brad talked about Terrion. Terrion has grown, and he's looking really good, and EJ was a big pickup, great pickup. So, and obviously our two safety there, heck of football players. So we like where we at on defense, and it's going to be interesting.
Is Aiden going to pick up right where he left off last year? Because I think we can both agree he was on track to be the defensive player of the year. What has stood out about him and his play in camp to you?
It just seems like the kid keeps getting better and better, and it's
amazing
hard.
to think he's better.
I mean, he's amazing, man. He comes to work every day. He works against the best tackle in football, in my opinion. Every day, and they go at it, man. They make each other better.
Iron sharpens iron, right? What about Tyleek, the rookie? Because obviously with Aleem, who you mentioned, being out till October, November, whatever it is, a few weeks, he's going to get an opportunity to play, and you guys are going to count on him early. What have you seen from the rookie defensive tackle?
I mean, he's a young guy. There's some growing pains, but I thought for the most part, kid had a good camp, played well, he competed. There's some things he has to learn because he's young, but I think he will help us out this year.
For a guy as big as he is, 330 pounds, he's got pretty nimble feet. He's going to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage a lot, isn't he?
No doubt. And once that kid grows and learns and the game slow down for him, sky's the limit for him.
Is that the exciting part, too? Because you guys ranked 30th against the pass, and look, a lot of that had to deal with injuries, and Aiden changes everything in regards to the marriage between the rush and the coverage. But are you just excited about that marriage between the rush and coverage? It looks like you guys got the guys in the back end to kind of get hands-on footballs, play the kind of man coverage that you want to. And Aiden and Marcus stay healthy, and what we talked about with Tyleek getting a lean back, you're going to be able to rush the quarterback a lot better than you did, too. You excited about that marriage and what that could mean for the defense?
No doubt. Being a defensive guy myself and being on a team that was pretty good defensively and to getting after the quarterback and covering, you can dictate to the offense what they do when you got that much,
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to that.
All right, let's go on the other side of the football. The offensive line, obviously 3 new starters along the interior. You guys have been, really known as this team that develops and has this best offensive line in football, and it's been that way now for 2-3 years. With Graham's got a ton of experience. I wanted to ask you about Ratledge first, the rookie. What did you guys like about him in that process, and what you liked about him? Did you see it on the field in training camp?
Yes, we saw everything we liked about him on the field. I mean, first of all, the kid loves football. He loves playing. He's physical. He plays our brand of football. He's tough, gritty, versatile. He can play guard and center. We really see him as a long-term center, But, starting out at guard, we had no problem with that kid. We knew the kid could play, he just had to come in and do it, and he did a great job in camp, in my opinion.
If I remember correctly, I think the same path Frank Agnew took. He played guard before he moved back to center, and it's just there's a lot going on at center for a young guy. When you got a veteran like Graham, you guys feel pretty good about him stepping in there and handling that?
Yeah, Graham I think that's the better position for Graham. I think he can play guard and center, but I think he's better at center. And the kid, Mahogany, man, that kid just keep getting better. And to me, that was my guy that I watched in camp that had the best camp, the most growth. Really? I thought he really grew as a player this year, and I like that kid a lot. That kid got some toughness to him. He's gritty. He loves the game. So.
Playing next to a guy like Taylor too, when you get an experienced guy, playing between 2 experienced guys, does that kind of helped him propel him a little bit ahead?
Oh
too?
yeah. I mean that helps a rookie, a young guy when you got somebody next to you that can kind of lead you, But a kid got some toughness to him though.
Speaking of the offensive line, I thought maybe one of the more underrated things that you guys did this offseason was bringing back Hank Fraley. And I'm just curious, what's the image, the picture of him from the front office? When you look at him, the job he's done with developing guys in the offensive line, the consistency that you've had in the offensive line, how big of a move was that? Getting Hank back here.
A real big move. Probably the biggest moves. He's done a great job with the offensive line. Man. I got a history with Hank. We signed Hank in St. Louis to play for us when I was doing the pro stuff there. with the Rams, but so we go a long way back.
Yeah.
But he's good, man, and to have him back was just outstanding, you know.
You made the move to trade Tim Patrick to Jacksonville, got back a little bit of capital, opens up probably some opportunities for the rookie Isaac Tesla. Just what you've thought of him in this process, and just from the outside looking in, obviously when Saint came in, he was pretty advanced for a rookie guy. We didn't see it really generate on the field in terms of consistent production until maybe the second half of his rookie year. But what have you seen from Isaac and his ability to maybe step in and help you guys right away?
Oh, man, I mean, the kid is, first of all, he works hard. First, he loves football. Good route runner, catches the ball well. But, you know, he really just started coming on in camp, man. And the kid had a great camp, had a good camp. And he just got better and better and better and better and better. And he still got some growth to do, but he's continuing to grow. And we're looking for, you know, some good things out of him this year.
A couple more for you. Obviously, a lot's been talked about the coordinator change. Just what do you like about John Morton? What do you like about Calvin Shepard in those roles? Now, having seen them for, you know, a few months now in those roles.
Oh, they both, you know, preach toughness as a coach, and then they both, you know, demanding on the players. I think Kevin, you know, I've been around Shep a long time. You know, scouted Shep as a player, and you know, Shep is very confident and tough.
Yeah.
You know, gritty. You know, so been excited for both of them guys. Obviously, we lost two guys that were, you know, highly productive, but I think we got two guys that are, you know, preach toughness, and they're aggressive guys. You know, so I think we'll be right just fine.
With John in particular, how much of an advantage is it having a quarterback that's been in the league for 10 years, that this offense was built, and John was on staff when it was built around him and the things that he does well. John knows the personnel. John obviously knows Jared. But how have those two worked together? It seems like it's been pretty in sync here over the last month, and the advantages of having a guy like Jared who's seen everything in this league, been around, when you're have a new offensive coordinator, you're implementing maybe subtle changes, but a few different changes. Having a guy as veteran as Jared, how important has that been?
It's been great. It's really extremely important because he can handle it, you know.
Yeah.
A young guy may not be able to handle it.
Get overwhelmed, right?
Yeah,
With
but
everything.
He can handle it because at this point he's seen pretty much everything, you know. So that's exciting, you know. Just to think about is really exciting.
Well, I want to end this podcast with how you ended you and Brad's press conference down with the media.
Yeah.
And it just, you guys were asked just about the confidence in this team, the confidence in this roster. You've been on really good teams, right? You've been to Super Bowls. Is this a team, in your opinion, is this a roster that's built? And obviously health plays a factor. There's a lot of things down the road. But right now, starting September, this is Super Bowl type roster that you guys have built here. Obviously, that's the expectation, but I see a little smile on your face. Is it a Super Bowl caliber team?
I think I'm safe here. I won't give Brad some more questions, but I do think this team will build to get there, and that doesn't guarantee we get there. We got to go get there and win it, and I think we're built that way. I think we have the players. You know, like I say, when you got difference makers. That's when in the playoffs, that's who win the games. The guys with different makers.
The guys like Aiden, St. Brown.
I'm not saying guys. That again. Because there are plenty of guys. I just named those two guys. But, I mean, you know, Gibbs. I mean, we got plenty, you know.
Yeah, Branch, Kirby. I mean, that's what you need, right? I mean, you need guys that are different makers in the end, and this roster's got plenty of them.
No question. Yep.
Well, Ray, I appreciate you taking the time. Everybody's obviously excited for the season to get going. Good luck to you.
Thanks, man.
Welcome back to the Twentyman Huddle podcast. That was great stuff from Assistant General Manager Ray Agnew, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to welcome in Brian Facchini. Brian Facchini is the Chief Communications and Brand Officer for the Detroit Lions, and obviously a lot of excitement heading into the season. Brian, you oversee all aspects of communication, marketing, brand management, game presentation, the community relations. So if you have any complaints, that's Brian. No.
Music changes, suggestions, yeah, we take it all.
You spent 10 years at Nike. You were also in the NBA for a number of years too, in San Antonio and Portland, I believe, right?
Yep, and Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City too. What was the selling point? Why was this opportunity with Detroit so exciting for you? Was it just the NFL? Was it what you saw with Detroit? Was it a combination of both? Kind of take me back to 5 years ago when this opportunity came up.
Yeah, I think it's all of it, to be honest. But I think, when the opportunity came to me, I wasn't really looking for it. It popped up, and it was like, sure, Detroit Lions football. Yeah, let's talk about that. It wasn't until I met with Rod, and then met with Sheila and Mike Disner, and I think those conversations really sort of sold me on, hey, there's something interesting going on here. There was an interesting perspective from leadership, sort of on how they saw the team evolving, and we had really good, frank conversations about sort of what I wanted out of it, what they wanted, and so that started kind of the ball. And then sitting with Brad and Dan, I came out to Detroit, sat with them, and really listening to the way that they spoke about the team. They spoke about what they wanted to build here. It really was evident to me there was something special going on, and that it would make sense to be a part of that.
Look, you spent time at Nike, right? We talk about branding, like, is there a bigger one, around, but that relation, I'm glad you touched on that, because that relationship between the general manager and the head coach, how important is that to an NFL franchise, to an NBA team, to all the places that you've been around, when it all falls in place and they have the same vision? Just how important is that? Because it's not like that, Brian, everywhere.
It's not. And I think, honestly, it's not just the head coach and GM. It's really all of leadership. I think that's really, like, I know rightfully so, Brad and Dan get a ton of credit for their relationship and the work that they've done. And I think what people don't see is how aligned all of leadership is. I think that is what...
And it starts with ownership.
Absolutely. Starts with ownership. And that's really what makes the difference, is I think when you, A, know who you are as an organization, and B, have a clear desire or a clear direction on where you're going, that to me is what really sets successful teams apart. And I think we've got some of that here. I think that can be anywhere. That can be I've seen it at Nike, I've seen it in the NBA, it can be in the automotive industry, it can be anywhere. When you have those two elements, that really is what sets you up for success. There's a lot of things that have to go right still, but that really puts you in a position to be successful. And I think we're lucky we have that here. As you mentioned, starting with the Ford family down, like, we have that. And that's what I think sets us apart right now.
Has the Detroit Lions brand ever been stronger, in your opinion? And I know you haven't been here a long time, but you've talked to people and you work with people that have been here a long time. Has it ever been stronger?
I mean, obviously not since I've been here. This is as strong as we've been. I think, we had a guy named Barry Sanders, and when you got a guy like that, in your lineage, your brand's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, moments in time, the brand obviously ebbs and flows, and I think right now it's really strong. And I think it's a byproduct of what we just talked about, which is we know who we are, we know what we want to be and where we're going, and that helps us on the brand side.
Yeah.
To share that with the fans.
You've been part of some great organizations that have gotten a ton of fan support. You look at OKC, and you look at, obviously, with the Spurs and what they had built, what they were for so long. What do you think of Lions fans? They're a little different breed, aren't they?
They are, but to me, it's passion. Like, that's what you see, and I think, I don't know really if it's the NFL, if it's, different cities. I've been in a few, but, like, the passion that's here is amazing. And the fact that, the different thing for me coming in was that there's 6 days between games, and people don't stop talking about the Lions for all 6 days.
Yeah.
NBA, hockey, baseball, there's games every day, and you move on pretty quickly. Here, it's 6 days of Lions talk, which speaks volumes, I think, about sort of the passionate fan base and sort of how they feel about the team.
I think there's over 20,000 people on the wait list now. Too. I mean, isn't that nuts? I've just that part of it. What you've seen from Ford Field, you're head of the game presentation part. A lot of those people work under you. So, what about that part of it? Do you love about it? It's just I travel. I marked off Kansas City. Was it last year? A couple of years as the last stadium that I needed to be to because we played them in London. So I've been to every stadium in the league. There's something different about game day with Detroit. Just the presentation, the excitement, the noise level now. Yeah. But that game presentation part of it, the fans really come out and they really make that what it is, don't they?
They do, and that's where it starts, right? If you have passionate fans who are excited to be in the building, the rest of it you just have to not screw it up, right? You got to keep them going. You got to keep them excited. But I think, it starts with that fan base. Ford Field is different. Ford Field is up there. When it's rolling, when we're playing well and those fans are excited, it's about as tough a place I think to be an opponent as there is. I go back to like Sacramento in the late '90s. The Kings, that building was nuts. Utah, when you had the Karl Malone Jazz, that building. Those are some of the most sort of like exciting, sort of loud, raucous buildings I've ever been in. And there's something that is just special. I mean, I was a part of a Game 7 in San Antonio for the NBA Finals. We beat the Pistons that year, unfortunately for all the Piston fans. Sorry about that. But that building, you walked in and you could feel the building. It physically felt different to walk in. And there's been a few times at Ford Field where you walk in the building and it feels different.
The Rams game, perfect example.
Rams game is a great example. The Jared Goff chance that started pre.
Yeah. I've never seen that before where everyone was in their seat an hour before the game. Never.
No, it speaks volumes to just the excitement level and what it meant.
Yeah.
Not just the organization, but to the city to have that game here. So Ford Field's a really, really special place. I don't think people – it's hard when you're there every week and you don't go to other places. I don't think you realize how special it is. So, I mean, I love our fans that travel. One, they give us that advantage on the road. Yeah. But two, I think they have a deeper appreciation for what it means to be inside Ford Field when that place is going.
No, it's a great point. Speaking of the fan base, that's obviously growing outside of American borders as well. You guys have obviously picked up the Canadian market, the German market, Austria, that area of the country too. You're seeing that explode all across the league, but why were those areas important for you guys?
Well, I think to start, Canada for obvious reasons. This is the proximity, and we already have a solid season ticket holder base from Ontario that comes over for games. So Canada made a ton of sense to just continue to grow. We sort of look at Ontario as a continuation of our home market, right? So that one made sense. Germany, everybody looks at it and goes, oh, Amon-Ra. And that's a huge part of it. Having one of the best wide receivers in the league be from there, speak the language is a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But for us, when we really look at it, there's a lot of synergies between Germany and Detroit. There's flights, right? It's easy to get to from here. There is a lot of commonalities in our partners. Ford has their European headquarters in Cologne, which is an area that we focused on. So the other thing that we realize when you look into it, and this is true for some markets, but Germany stood out, there are amazing sports fans in Germany. They're huge soccer fans, basketball, hockey. They're huge sports fans. It's our job to now get them to convert into Lions fans, right? They love the NFL. The games in Munich have been huge. So we'll do some things over there. Canada, we're going to do a watch party week 1 up at Canada Life Place, which will be awesome for fans up there. And I think we'll probably get some people from Detroit that'll drive over for it. It'll be a blast. And then we'll do some stuff in Germany throughout the year to sort of activate with those fans and continue to bring Lions culture to them, because we are, at the end of the day, we're a Detroit brand that we believe is emerging globally.
And the expectation is we probably play in Germany sooner rather than later.
It's the hope.
Not this year,
crossed,
obviously, but next year with that extra home game. I think Rod has talked about this too, that the likelihood that we're over there would make a whole lot of sense. And that'll be a fun week, I think, for everybody involved getting over there.
I think it'll be amazing. It'd be amazing to go over there and be on the ground with the fans.
Community relations is another thing. What are some of the big initiatives that you guys have going this year that you're excited about?
Yeah, for us, we'll always remain focused on education. That's a big one for us. That's our foundation focus is education and then access to sport for kids. We truly believe that sports, I grew up an athlete in Portland, Oregon, very mediocre athlete, but I grew up an athlete, and I think the life lessons you learn from from sports are huge. And so we'll continue to push getting kids access to that. And then education, obviously, is an important thing to the Ford family that we're then doing through the foundation. The other thing's Thanksgiving for us. The Lions were part of my Thanksgiving tradition as a kid in Oregon, which speaks volumes to the reach of the brand through the NFL. And so we love that. We want to be as known in Detroit for Thanksgiving off the field than we are for on. So we'll do some stuff where we'll focus on food insecurity, working with some great partners, Meyer and Lineage, Gleaners Food Bank. We'll work with them and really make sure that it's a great holiday for everybody. When you have a holiday that's family, food, and football, you want to make sure that people have access to all those things.
And I want to make you guys aware of this too, because I talk about my son in hockey quite a bit as well. But like myself, Brian has to deal with missing a lot of hockey games during the football season. You got a son; he's going to be a junior, right?
He's going to be a junior at Northville.
Playing hockey. So our sons might cross paths a little bit, the senior versus the junior there. But that's fun to be in the hockey den. I'd be a little remiss if I didn't ask you about the product on the field as well. Just your excitement. I know your job is to handle a lot of the business end of stuff, but your excitement with the product that you're seeing on the field, what's been built. Obviously the two go hand in hand. The business part goes like this when the product on the field goes like this. How excited are you guys for the product that's been built here by Brad, Ray, and Dan, and just moving forward?
Yeah, it starts with football, right? Like that's why we're all here, is to win games. And I think it's exciting, not just winning games, like that's a big part of it, but the way that we play speaks directly to who we are, who our fans are, what our fans appreciate about the game. And it's really, it starts with Dan in that regard, starts with the Ford family, but then really Dan on the football side with the fact that it's a blue-collar way of playing football. We're going to play a tough, physical brand of football, and I think that's something that our fan base really buys into, loves, can relate to. And so for us, on the brand side, it's just continuing to be authentic. Just be who we are off the field the same way we are on the field. And it does make it easy, makes it fun. Trying to tell my Northville hockey team to have a little more grit, a little more jam there. So it is fun, and I think it does. It's a huge advantage for us. Not just that we're good, not just that we play a certain way, but it's authentic to who we are. That's the key.
It's a fun time, isn't it? We're getting rolling here. The roster's set. You get excited for week one. You let yourself maybe think about what January, February could look like. It's just a fun time, isn't it?
It is. And I'll tell you, I got a preview. My guy Max in OPP gave me a preview of the open video.
Oh.
I saw that the other day, and I got goosebumps.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got goosebumps. Like, to me, it's super, like, to see those guys and to see them come to life, and what I know, the way I know Ford Field will react to seeing that. Like, I got goosebumps watching it the other day. So
By
I'm
the way,
excited for it.
a shout out to One Pride Production too. One of the areas that you oversee, the social media and the video production. The Barrett who does our podcast. Great job. We have great people over there, but it's an exciting time. Brian, appreciate you taking the time, and go Lions.
Yeah, go Lions.